Welcome, everybody, to this week's Fan to Flame UK podcast. This week, we've got Rebecca Bullingham with us. So, welcome, Rebecca.
Hello.
You nervous?
Yes.
Excellent. That's what we like to see, Rebecca. For those that don't know Rebecca, she's based at Stony Stanton Church in the congregation there. She is a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
She is a GB Frisbee player, and she's a campanologist. What on earth is that? I'm sure we will explore a little bit more about whatever a campanologist is soon, Rebecca. Yeah. So exciting. Anyway, looking forward to chatting to you, Rebecca. For those that are new to the podcast, we explore everyday stories about how God speaks to us and uses us every day in everyday situations for his eternal purposes. These are stories about life and faith. So we want to learn about how God gives us hope, how he gives us direction. We want to find out about how God fans that flame inside of us, where he's given us gifts, and how he uses those for his eternal purposes. We're all unique, which is lovely, but he's got a plan for each one of us. Not always clear,
Sure.
Not always straightforward. But hey, I'm sure we're going to really enjoy listening to Rebecca today. So shall we just crack on? She has seen the questions. She knows how simple they all are. This is our big question series, and we always start off with some really simple, quick fire ones to just ease Rebecca in here. So Rebecca, here we go. So Rebecca, welcome. Tell us a little bit about you, any bits and bobs that you want to say, I don't know, age, family, anything that you like.
Okay, I'm 36. I was born in Birmingham. I moved to Bristol when I was 10, reluctantly. I have two siblings. I have three siblings, two sisters and a brother, all of which are younger than me, and I am married to Carl.
Wow. Reluctantly moved to Bristol?
Moved for my dad's job, but because we moved when I was 10, we moved at the start of year 6. So then I had 1 year of primary school before I then moved to secondary school. So there was just a lot of disruption. And I just wanted to go back to Birmingham where all my friends were.
Oh.
So it was... I never really took to Bristol. People keep telling me about how it's such a lovely city, and I'm sure it is. But it was just never home for me.
So you obviously raced to try and get back to Birmingham then?
Yeah, went to university in Birmingham.
Cool. We'll find out a little bit about that in a few minutes then. Brilliant. And a minute ago, you forgot how many siblings do you have. Is there a particular sibling that you forgot?
No, it's just because in my notes it starts with siblings and then the next number is 2 because it's 2 sisters and a brother.
So you're the oldest, youngest?
Eldest.
Eldest? Oh, yeah. My word. There's always pressure on the oldest, isn't there?
Yes.
I'm middle child, so I have different issues.
Yeah, no, that's nice. I mean, being the eldest, it meant that I got everything new. That was definitely a perk. And I didn't get the hand-me-downs. I got to hand down. But I guess there was that responsibility of having to do the right thing, even when your siblings weren't. Yeah. So my sister and I, we argued as siblings do. When we were younger, but it always seemed that as soon as I tried to argue back, there was a responsibility on me not to, almost, and to be the bigger person.
Wow. I must remember that when I'm working with my siblings to try and be a little bit more sensitive and take responsibility. Impressive. Anyway, these are supposed to be quick fire questions, but hey, that's life, isn't it? People know what we're like on this podcast. So tell us a little bit about your current job and maybe your best job, if you've got a best job.
My current job, I'm tutoring. So I was teaching, but kind of didn't enjoy it towards the end, so left teaching and I now tutor, which is great, really love it. But my best job would be working for Woolworths. It was one of my first jobs. Woolies. I worked there when I was 16, I think, 17. I got a job at Woolworths. And I mean, it's the people that make a job great. So I had fantastic managers who were always on the shop floor working with us. They'd stack the shelves alongside. There wasn't that feeling of being their minions or anything. I had good colleagues. We were trusted that as long as we did the job, we could have fun doing the job, and we did.
Wow.
So.
Oh, Woolies. God. I didn't think you were old enough to remember that far, Rebecca. But for those on the podcast, I'm sure we all remember Woolies and all the other ones that have disappeared since.
I was there the day it finally closed.
Oh.
I can still hear the tannoy for the final, that this Woolworths store for the final time has now closed, and I can just hear it. So.
Oh.
Yeah. It was, although, and I know these are quick fire, so I apologise.
No, it's fine.
But I've worked in retail quite a bit, and you hear that whole the customer is always right, and you've always got to be polite, and you've always got to be smiling. But on the day that Woolworths closed, we actually had a guy come in at 12 o'clock on that day and say, "I'll give you this amount for everything left on your shelves." So we had to just get the customers out. They were allowed what was in their baskets, but anything that was left on the shelves was sold. And we all had to jump on the tills quickly to usher people out. And I remember this woman, she came to pay for her things, and just said, "Well, this isn't very fair. I haven't had long enough to look." And it was just so nice to be able to say to her, "Well, I'm sorry, you've known that we're closing down for months. People are actually losing their jobs today." And to be able to say that to her, and you could see her going, "I'm going to complain about you," and then realising
Pointless.
it wasn't going to do anything. So it was actually quite nice to be able to just
kick back
a little bit.
So that customer-friendly part went out at the end, did it?
I said it politely. I wasn't rude to her, but it was nice to just kind of remind her of the bigger picture.
Yeah, really good. Just out of interest, tutoring, teaching, difference is what?
So teaching, obviously I'm responsible for 30 children, and that is quite a challenge.
Primary, were you?
Primary, yes.
Right, okay.
Ended up in year 1, which I don't think... I loved teaching year 5. That's where I really kind of felt at home.
Yeah.
And then got moved to year 1. And they're lovely, but it wasn't... I just didn't feel like I had the right skills, I think, for year 1 teaching. It's a very different... environment to year 5.
Yeah. And tutoring?
Tutoring, the maximum amount of children I teach in one go is 3.
Oh, wow.
And so I get to work a lot more closely. It really does feel like I get to teach the children that need it and want to hear it as well. So I'm getting a lot of satisfaction out of.
So where do you find your students then? Is this extra curriculum for them, or is this instead of the national curriculum because they're not at school?
It's extra. So the majority of them are in school. We've got a couple of children that are homeschooled.
Right.
But majority are in school, quite a few. So it might be that they just need additional support. They might find school quite a tricky environment to be in.
Yeah.
And therefore, you can't learn when you're stressed. So some of the children, the school environment is just quite tough.
Yeah.
So they come for tutoring.
What age group's that then? Is that because that might be different? Is that slightly higher then from primary?
The company that I work for, we have the youngest is in year 2.
Wow.
And the eldest are doing their A levels, so we go all the way through.
So you teach across the spectrum there?
Yeah, I personally don't. I teach up to year 9 mainly. Like I haven't got any of the GCSE students.
Yeah.
But I love it because I actually get that variety.
Yeah.
You go into teaching and people will tell you that not like every day is different, and it's great. But in reality, you're teaching at that same level, and I love being able to teach. I get to teach fractions from a year 2 level all the way to like a GCSE level, and I love it because you can see the whole sequence of learning.
Wow, that is brilliant. It's funny that you're right. These are supposed to be quick fire, but you're too interesting already, Rebecca.
I'm also very geeky, so if you do get me onto the subject of maths, you'll be here a long time. So we should move away from the maths.
You'll enjoy chatting to Karen, who used to work in a bank for 30 years. So me, can't be bothered. So tell us a little bit about, your favourite pastime.
Have quite a few. I love walking in the Lake District, as you all know.
I love the lakes, yeah.
So, love walking, I do cross-stitch, I do crochet, sort of learning it. I love doing jigsaw puzzles. Anything that keeps my heart rate nice and low and chilled out. Do enjoy playing sport, but, that's kind of a slightly different headspace, I think.
Yeah, a very different headspace, isn't it?
Pastime I see as something that I do to unwind and relax, so.
What's the difference between cross-stitch and crochet? Obviously, I'm a bloke, so I wouldn't have a Scooby-Doo.
Cross-stitch is close to embroidery, so it's like a a 2D picture,
Oh, right,
I
yeah.
guess. Whereas crochet, you can make blankets, but I generally make toys, so little cuddly toys.
So what's knitting then? Is that different again?
It's a different technique. So
Different technique to what?
to crochet, yeah.
Right,
So similar to crocheting and what you would make with knitting. Um, but
You
it's
don't
just different.
hear, I'll be honest, Rebecca, you don't hear many people your age talking about crocheting and cross stitch. Maybe you do, but I don't walk in those circles. How did you get into that?
My mum does cross stitch. My nanny used to knit,
Right.
and my gran actually. I found knitting quite hard as a child. I started crochet probably after university actually. It wasn't like a cross stitch I've done since I was quite small.
Right.
I think my first one was a tree, nice and basic, for, like a 6-year-old or whatever I was. And then I picked up crochet after university. I think I wanted to craft. I love making things for people, and cross stitch takes a long time. So I saw kind of things being made out of crochet and thought, that looks like it might be a bit quicker than a cross stitch if I was making it for people. So
Brilliant. And you said that it's like one of your pastimes is walking in the lakes. I'm assuming that's one of your favourite places, is it?
It is one of my favourite places. We go away. We try and get to the lakes a few times a year.
Right.
To do like fell walking. Taking off the Wainwrights.
Yeah. How many have you done of the 214 that are there?
And
oh my word.
5. We're just under 50%. I'd like to get to over 50%.
Have you got a target date of when you want to get them all done by?
As soon as possible, but without it becoming arduous to go up every weekend.
Yeah.
I've
got to say, I've seen you on Strava, and you and Carl are just bonkers when it comes to walking.
The last time I went? Recently when we were up, we did tag one on because we wanted to tick off as many as we could while we were up there.
Yeah.
And as soon as you gain height, you kind of want to get as many. So we'd done Bowfell and Esk Pike and the ones leading up to it, and then we were like, Russet Pike's just down there. We're just going to tick that one off. It was a lot of down to then come back up and over. Standing on Russet Pike, looking back up at the gap between both of the next pike and going, I've got to get back up there.
Oh, I don't know how you do it.
That was a lot of regret.
And yet when I invited you to come and do Helvellyn and Striding Edge,
I was working.
I know you were working. I thought you were scared of coming along Striding Edge.
No, it is on our list to do this year. We'd like to get Striding Edge done.
Brilliant. So. And have you done Scarfell Pike already, bud?
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, we've done a lot around there. We still got Great Gable to do in that region.
Have you got the Wainwright books?
We haven't. My mum does. I do need the Wainwright books. It is what I'm missing.
Yes, I found one in the charity shop just recently. Okay. I'll even let you have it. Although I've not set that on a recording. Yeah.
We do have a scratchy map. You need a scratchy map. So when we do,
I've got the app. I've got the Wainwright app.
I've got that too. But we do have a proper scratchy map.
I'm sorry to everyone that's listening, but me and Rebecca obviously like these kind of things. Is there anywhere else that you'd be interested in going? Favourite places?
I'd love to go to New Zealand. Haven't been, but New Zealand because I'm really geeky. I do feel like after this podcast, people will know me a little bit more in my geeky sense.
Well, if you think you're geeky, I want to go to New Zealand as well. So maybe that's me being a geek.
Yeah, well, it's for Lord of the Rings. I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan. And it's just where the films were filmed. So just the scenery and to be able to go to those places would be incredible.
Brilliant.
So maybe one day.
See, that's where we're dissimilar. Okay, Rebecca. I've never read or seen any of the films or the books or Harry Potter. So, so sorry, I'm not maybe so geeky as you. But then I watch a lot of football.
Okay.
So, tell us a little bit about, have you got any best memories in life?
It's hard. I think I've got a lot of good memories. It was really hard to pick a best memory. When I was talking to Carl about it, he looked at me almost offended. So I feel like my best memory was our wedding.
Very good.
It was lovely. It was a great day and just great to be around family and friends to make that commitment to one another.
Yeah. Been married long?
Almost 11 years.
Oh. So tell us a little bit about how you first met, maybe. Really interesting story there.
Well, we met at university. I I took 2 gap years. So Carl was in his 3rd year when I joined, but we're, similar age,
Yeah.
like same age. But I'd taken 2 gap years. I joined the Frisbee team. I'd seen Frisbee being played on the beach when I was 15
Right.
and decided that was a sport that I wanted to do. My dad had done some inquiring and found out that it was a university sport predominantly back then.
Oh, right.
So the only way really to get into it was to go to university. So I went to university, joined the Frisbee club, saw Carl and thought, oh, that guy looks pretty good.
Is that all you thought?
It was at the time. I was like, oh, he looks pretty good. I'll ask him for some tips and
Yeah, it was a good excuse, Rebecca.
so just asked him how to throw it in a particular way, and he just went, oh, it's easy, you do it like this, and then ran away. That was it. So
All right, lasting impression.
So I was like, oh, okay, never mind. So I found other people to help me develop my my game and everything. So it wasn't actually until 2 years after that we actually started talking and going out.
How bizarre.
Although he said to me after that he'd been attracted to me the whole time, so maybe, I don't know, maybe he was just
Maybe you
nervous.
scared him at the beginning.
Maybe I did. A little bit too forward.
Show me how to throw a Frisbee.
Yeah.
Can be quite forward. Oh, that's actually quite nice, actually, isn't it?
Really.
And just out of interest, where did he propose? Anything romantic about the proposal? Did he throw a Frisbee with a ring in it and you had to catch it?
He did joke about doing that, actually. He did joke that in the game, if he assisted a goal to me, that he would propose there and
Oh.
I was very much like, please don't. So no, we went, we do a lot of cycling down the canals.
Right.
So we'd gone out the day after my birthday in Birmingham. We cycled, I'm not sure if we made it as far as Stratford, but we cycled towards Stratford. He proposed when we stopped at one of the locks.
Oh.
So it's very quiet, very
Very romantic.
Very romantic.
And you've been married how long?
Almost 11 years.
11 years. Wow. Oh, that's cool. Just intrigued on your Frisbee bit. I think you're better than just doing Frisbee at university, aren't you? Has it gone anywhere since then?
Yes. So after university, we helped set up a club in Birmingham. Our friend set it up, but I was treasurer for a while. So carried on playing after uni. Got fairly good on the in the UK scene in the mixed division. And then in 2019 trialled for my first GB team.
Wow.
So made the GB women's beach team in 2019, and since then have played. So that was in Portugal, at the Euros, and then I played World Beach for the women's in 2023, maybe. Can't remember the years.
Wow.
And then played mixed masters on grass in 2024 in America.
Because I have seen you travelling the world as well with this.
Yeah.
So it's pretty impressive.
So yeah, been to America twice now, LA twice to place.
Big commitment, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really big commitment.
Yeah.
But
financially and time wise.
Wow. So we've learned about your teaching and we've learned about your Frisbee. We've still got to come to campanologist at some point today. But yes. I'll leave people looking forward to hearing what that is at some later point. Mum and Dad, what do they do?
Well, they're both retired now.
Right.
Dad was worked for the bank. He worked at head office, so it was for his job that we moved to Bristol. And then Mum worked as a biochemist for Birmingham University before I came along, slightly unexpectedly. And then she dedicated her time to raising us. And then when I was in I think it was when I was in sixth form, she went back to work. So she worked as a lab technician in schools.
No, brilliant.
Yeah.
Very cool.
But now both happily retired and busier than ever.
Yeah, my parents are the same. Anybody that you particularly admire or have been mentored by, or however you want to, is there somebody like that in your life?
This is quite a tough question in that I'm incredibly proud of my family.
Yeah.
But couldn't think of whether I admired them. So I've gone with one of my friends, she's just an incredibly honest and open person. Like, she lives her life with integrity, which I think is quite a rare thing
Yeah.
these days. She's also a Christian, and and everybody knows it. She's not closed about it. She
Mm.
just she lives her life that way. And I know that her prayer in the morning is always that she can show Jesus to somebody that day, which I just think is a great testimony, and definitely not a place that I'm quite in yet. But yeah, she challenges me, and I think that's a good.
That is quite a challenge, isn't it? Show
Yeah.
Jesus to somebody every day.
Yeah.
But I suppose that's just in the everyday, isn't it?
Yeah,
Just how you
it's
live and
yeah, and it's not that she wants to go up and
preach.
preach to people every day. That's absolutely not it.
Yeah.
It's just through her life that she wants to be Jesus to people, be that that loving, caring person.
Mm.
So
Oh, that's nice. It's nice to have people that walk the journey with you, isn't it?
yeah,
Bit of a safe place. We talk about stuff, but they're a good challenge as well. I think
yes,
makes the best friends, isn't it? When they
Yeah.
give you that encouragement, but they're a challenge
yeah,
and
for
they're a
sure.
safe haven.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah,
that.
definitely.
Is it someone from back home, some local? Do you see them often?
I don't see them often, but it's someone we play Frisbee with. So.
Lovely. And that's the thing, isn't it? Friends come in lots of shapes and sizes
Yes.
and distance and stuff. Some of my long-standing friends I very rarely see. I have very different conversations with some of the people that I see more locally. It's funny, isn't it, how these things work, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just have different connections. Do you have a favourite song that comes to that sort of like stood with you, and why?
Yeah, I've got one that's always stood with me. So I've cheated a little bit and I've picked 3 songs. Mainly because I think depending on where I'm at that moment in time, it changes. I have got a long-standing one, which would be "Shout to the Lord," because in that you sing "Forever I'll love you, forever I'll stand."
Yeah.
And when I was growing up in the church I grew up in, they would constantly challenge you when you're worshiping, when you're singing. Do you mean and do you believe the words that you're singing?
Wow.
It wasn't just about singing a nice, singing a song. It was no, it was always, what are you singing? Do you believe it? Do you feel it? Are you committing to that? So I think for me, that song, every time I've wavered in my faith, I'm reminded that is a promise. Forever I'll love you, forever I'll stand, and that's not easy to keep. Promises aren't always easy to keep, especially in the tough times. But it has kept me.
Yeah.
Kind
Cool,
of reminded that I have made that commitment to God.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. In the previous one of our previous podcasts, Ben Line was saying worship's not about us;
No.
it's about Him.
Yeah.
And sometimes we fail to pick up on the words that are being said, and we can be a bit flippant with them. And I think that's great that the church has really encouraged you to take on board. What is it that you're saying, and is that true to you as you worship?
Yeah.
No, I like that. And you said you got 2 other songs. That's an old time classic. That
Yeah. This is another old one. Is "I Can Only Imagine" by Mercy Me. Because again, I think that's helped me to just keep everything in perspective. So that actually, ultimately, the goal is to serve God and be with Him for eternity, which means that what I'm facing, troubles that we do face on earth are fleeting, even though they are tough. And sometimes you do just want to throw the towel in. That helps to just remind me that, that will pass.
It is it's one of my favourite songs. I don't know if I can answer my own questions. Probably a bit like you. I'd have about 10 songs.
It was hard to limit to it.
But now I play that quite a bit in life group, and it just strikes me that, can we imagine what it would be like when we're standing in front of Him? And if we lived a little bit more with that in mind, well, maybe we would act and think quite differently, and maybe we would ask different questions, and or maybe we'd just be in awe and get off our high horse that we put ourselves on. I demand this to happen or no, but it's a challenging one, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
And your final one?
This is my current favourite, mainly because I think this one has kept me going in recent years, especially when things have been tough. and it's called Greater Than It All. Because again, it just focuses on the fact that like God is greater.
Yeah.
He's done. There's a line that says, "It is finished." Like he finished everything on the cross for us. And we talk about the words, but it is also the music. It's an
Yeah.
incredibly calming song. There is a line in there as well that says that you are the peace within the storm.
Mm.
And just when everything feels so out of control, or at least out of my control, he is that peace, and I've definitely found that in the last few years.
Yeah.
So
And there are songs for different times, for different circumstances, aren't
yeah,
there? Yeah. What I'll do is I'll find those links and put them into the podcast later.
I can send that one to you.
Brilliant. So there you go. There were your quick fire ones that's supposed to. So
Apologies.
don't. It's been fascinating already, Rebecca. Look, you've obviously you intimate through some of your answers that obviously God directs and maybe doesn't always bring clarity. He speaks, but not maybe in the ways that we want.
Yeah.
How does he speak and bring direction to you?
I think a lot of it, I've got a friend that when he got saved, he heard the audible voice of God. I don't think many people can say
No.
that. Like I certainly can't. So I think for me, it's that feeling in my spirit of whether I have peace about something, especially in direction. So it's really hard to put it into words. So when I was probably about 17, I wanted to go to university, but I knew I wasn't ready to go to university. I would not have survived university if I'd gone. I was incredibly timid and incredibly shy and scared of the world. And we were at a Christian camp in the summer, and they advertised their Bible college, and it just stirred something in me. And I don't know how you describe that. There's like an excitement and a desire that doesn't feel like your own, because I was terrified to leave home. But it wouldn't let go. And then when I made the decision to go, I had a peace about it, and I'd say that that's kind of how I feel that direction in different areas, especially when I've applied for jobs or when we talked about moving to Leicester. I think it's that internal feeling of something's right or something's not right,
Yeah,
in a way that I can't necessarily put into words.
and yet it's familiar.
Yeah.
You just it's like knowing the voice of God, or knowing the Spirit when He's speaking or provoking us or nudging us. You get used to those. Is that more what it's like? Is you get used to knowing this is something from God?
Yeah. When I was at Bible college, there was a lady that used to say, "You know, in your knower."
Yes.
Yeah. And it is you. I don't know. You just know, like, that something's right or something's not right.
Yeah.
And it's from God.
Yeah.
So
There's a gentleman called Ted Kent and a lady called Esther Kent. People in the church may know them from way back. That's exactly what he used to say. You just know in your knower.
Yeah.
Great missionaries and people of God, and guided a lot of people in our church. So he obviously talks and provokes and nudges and you, and obviously you've moved from wherever you were back into Leicester. But he's obviously gifted you because you've got multiple skills by the sounds of it. What would you say those gifts are, and how do you see those being used at the moment? Or
I guess it's hard to see it as a gift, but my heart is for serving. I love to serve and I love to bless others. Whether that's, serving in the church, but also like little things. I don't know if it's the teacher in me, but I can't leave a Frisbee pitch without checking everyone's got their jumpers and their belongings, which I know can bless other people. I know that when I've forgotten something and no one's noticed, it's really sad. So, being that person for other people, noticing other people as much as I can, seeing what the need is and trying to help to meet that need in some way. And then, since I was 18, I've worked with children as well. So I think that is one of my giftings. and I'm not the loud, outgoing, bounce off the wall kind of person that works with children. I'm that quiet person that hopefully kind of brings some peace when they don't feel it. So I first started working with children on a Christian, on like a summer camp.
Right.
So I was in the 3 to 4s, and looking back, that's tough for a child. You're dropped off by your parent into this like marquee with hundreds of other children that you don't know. And I mean, some of them were straight in there. There was a bouncy castle, and they're straight in, and others were just so nervous. And I would just sit in the book corner and read to them, and really found like a peace in doing that. And it just felt like I could connect in that way and bring comfort in, and not having to try and I don't know, get them all excited about being there. So,
but that, if you go back to one of the things that you said a minute ago, is that you see the need and meet it, and obviously your eyes are open to things that some other people aren't seeing because they're engaged in other aspects, and that's a great thing about God, isn't it? He gives us eyes to see different things, and then gives us a heart to meet the need that we see, and it's interesting that he's giving you those eyes to see those things, because there's a need with young people that struggle in certain environments and need that extra hand, or just someone just to be a bit more of a safety blanket and things like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you see a lot more of that in more recent times since the pandemic?
Not necessarily with the children, I don't think. I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah, no.
I'd have to think about. It was definitely apparent when you are thrust into a room with lots of other children that you don't know. You could see the discomfort in the children then. But yeah, I guess I haven't been in quite as large a setting since the pandemic. But...
Yeah, well, I don't think many of us haven't that for you, thankfully.
Yeah.
Looking forward though, do you see that God's got something for you in that, using that gift of servanthood in a new way or in the same way?
I couldn't see it in a new way, I don't think. I think it's very much in the same way. Because I've had, not just children, but like parents, children, families have been on my heart probably since around the age of 17 or 18. I think I had some friends at the time that, were young mums, kind of saw them struggling. And at that point, I knew that I wanted to kind of be a support to people where I could.
Yeah.
So it has kind of been quite a long, slow burner. But I love helping, help at Mum Stop, and I love serving at Mum Stop.
Is there a time, obviously you're saying there 17, 18, you start becoming a little bit clearer that that's possibly something that you're really good at. Is over time, has that become clearer and clearer, and therefore you're like, right, this is me, and I need to put myself in these spaces, or was it always clear from day one, this is what you're gifted at and what you wanted to get involved in?
I think it definitely wasn't clear from day one. I remember speaking to somebody, a church leader at the time, who she was already working with like women and families,
right,
and things. I don't really want to go into specific details of what she did.
Yeah.
But I remember speaking to her, and her saying, "It's not the right time," which is hard to hear when you feel like God's put something on your heart.
Yeah.
And she just said, "Now's not the right time for you," and she was absolutely right. Like, I was 100% not ready for anything like that. So I think it was important in that time that you can hear things like that from people. People say now it's not the right time, and you have got to trust people. Sometimes, especially leaders, with some of those things. Sometimes, and your last question is about the advice. I'm going to give it here, but it's about holding it lightly. That I still believe that God had put that on my heart, but equally I trusted that it probably wasn't the right time. I was only 18, and had absolutely no real life experience behind me or anything. You think you know it all at 18, don't you? But looking back, I absolutely did not. So I think Yeah, it's definitely been slow, and it's grown.
But it's never left you though.
No,
And I think that's the key thing, isn't it? You can place something on you as a teenager that you can speak into you.
yeah,
But it's not necessarily for now.
yes,
It can be for later. If you take Joseph's story
yeah,
in the Bible,
yeah,
his was a quite a lifetime of ups and
yeah,
downs before he ended up with what he'd been given. Similarly with me, I had somebody give a word for me when I was a teenager, and still working that through and bringing it to fruition. And it's
yeah,
interesting how God works like that, isn't it? Is that he doesn't always give you everything now.
yeah,
He needs to work some things into you and some things out of you, and to give you some life experiences so that you can cope better
yes,
when the right time comes.
yeah. So I was incredibly, I had such a wonderful upbringing. Like I was so sheltered, in my family
Yeah,
because it was safe, it was supportive, and things I had no idea really of the things that people face. So
yeah,
it would not have been the right time as a naive 18 year
yeah. No, I get that. So on that basis, then I sense that you had brilliant upbringing. Parents in the church and stuff had it sort of like were they not? How did you come
Mum,
to faith?
Mum was. So I was brought up in a Christian home, and my mum was Christian, so
Right.
she took us to church. Um, we went to summer camps. Dad would come, but Dad wasn't saved at the time. He would be there. Um, he'd be on babysitting duty, so to let all the Christian people go to their meeting. That kind of thing. He still involved himself. We had a talent show, and he came along to that. He wasn't
It's great that he
completely
wanted to
off.
be around people, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, and so one parent was Christian, one was not. Growing up, I uh, I gave my life to Jesus, and I'm going to put that in inverted commas. When I was 7, and it was at a Christian camp, and we turned up in the morning, and the leader had uh, I brought some children to the front and said, these children have given their lives to God, and then asked them which table they wanted to join. So all the tables had, I think, I'm fairly sure it's animal names. So they got to choose which table.
Right.
And I wanted to be on the rabbit table. And I wasn't. So when I got back to the tent that night, I said to Mum that I wanted to give my life to Jesus purely.
So you can get on the rabbit table.
And I do remember Mum talking to me about what that meant.
Yeah.
That it was commitment. That it did mean kind of turning away from your old life and committing to something new. And I was like, yep, sure. So I got into the meeting the following morning and said, I've given my life to Jesus. And they're like, yeah, that's really great. There's no rabbit table.
Oh, no!
Which is fine. And I think from then, I think, my mum had spoken to me about what being a Christian was. I think from then I did start paying a little bit more attention to what it meant.
Yeah.
So from then it was kind of slow. I wouldn't be able to tell you a definitive moment.
Yeah.
That my faith changed to my own faith. Got baptised when I was 14, and still actually looking back, not 100% sure it was my own faith at that point. I think it was getting there.
Active during university and stuff?
Yeah, kept at church. I've never. I guess the only time I stopped going to church was during COVID. Mainly because the online stuff was just tough. So it's kind of easier to be a bit absent online, isn't it, than it is in person. So,
wow.
And with what we were going through at that time as well. So, church wasn't an easy place to be in for us before COVID.
Right.
So then when COVID hit, it was quite easy to just not be there and nobody noticed necessarily.
It sounds like you've had some tough times, maybe still in tough times, I don't know. What are those valleys? Have you been able to open up a little bit, and how's God guided you, spoken to you in those times?
So the biggest valley has been our journey with fertility, or infertility, I guess. So we've desperately wanted children for 10 years now. And that's a big valley to be in, especially when we believe we've had words, about having our own children, I prayed very specific prayers that I felt God had answered and confirmed.
Yep.
And still we haven't seen it. Which I guess is why that song is so important to me. You know, God being greater than it, or that He is my peace. In that storm, in that valley, you know, I've just had to keep my eyes fixed on Him. Somebody said to me at the time, don't, like, make sure that you keep your eyes fixed on Him. Don't let the focus become trying to have a child.
Right.
And you know,
easier said than done.
It is absolutely easier said than done. It gets tough at times. It's really hard to not focus on what you don't have and try to focus on what you do have, because we are blessed. We are, Carl and I haven't got really anything to complain about. We are incredibly blessed.
Yeah, but that's a long journey.
You know, you've got that yearning in your heart. It's hard. It's tough.
Well, no, exactly. And when you're obviously gifted and talented with kids and all of that as well, particularly difficult. And obviously myself and Karen had some issues in our early married lives about whether we could have kids. And I remember that particularly being difficult for the first few years. We've been blessed with 2 amazing girls now, but we're always mindful of every pregnancy that everyone goes through. Is not always as simple as we think, and not everybody can be pregnant, and yet there's a lot of excitement and expectation and almost I'll have kids because that's what everybody thinks until they've been through it and they've been on a bit of a journey and see that it's not as simple as we all think. So standing with you on this one.
Thank you.
Praying with you and Carl to see if we can get a breakthrough on this one.
I think it's, during that time as well. I'm doing the Daily Bread reading at the moment and going through Job, and I think the videos from that they've put up and some of the the bits that people have written, the pause and I can't remember what it says, pause and reflect maybe, about Job has kind of made me realise that actually some of the feelings that I had in that time, I blame myself. Must have been something I did. God's punishing me or something. God doesn't love me. And then at times, does He even exist? If I'm honest, there were those times where I'm like, is anybody there? Is anybody listening? So actually reading Job has been a real blessing with the plan this year, kind of breaking it down and realising that I'm not the first person to have felt those feelings. And I don't have the answers. I don't know why. I might never know why.
You will when you meet him.
Yes. Yeah.
Although you'd like to hear the answer, wouldn't you?
But I've had to learn so much to trust. To trust in Him, to stand on the promise that I made that I will love Him. All the time. And then when we were coming out of COVID, I really felt that we needed to find the church. And again, it's that peace. It's knowing where we have peace. And Ellie preached in, I think it was August time maybe, about perfect peace. And one of the things that she said, I think, it's one of the things I didn't know I knew. It was a subconscious knowing, as you need to place yourself in a position to find peace.
Right.
And we knew that we needed to do that. We just didn't know that that's what we needed, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No.
So we had that. We had still had that draw to find another place where we could fellowship with people and feel safe. So.
And do you feel that, like, obviously you've got the Word speaking to you, you've got the Lord speaking to you. Have you got a community around you that can encourage and speak to you in those times?
Yeah. Our life group's great. Everybody at church is great. We've had people just come and give words at the right time, that haven't known what we're going through.
Right, good.
Especially when I felt that God didn't love me anymore. Maybe He wasn't even there. At that time, somebody in church did come over and just said, I feel like I've got a word for you. God says that He can see you.
Wow.
And He knows the desires of your heart. And I was like, okay, maybe He is there. So, it's amazing how God can give those words when you need them.
Yeah, really powerful. Is there any Do you have a favourite passage? Is it related to this, or is it related to just be on your Christian walk?
It's not related to this. It's not, and it's not a passage. It's a verse.
Ooh,
Again, cheated. I'm afraid. My favourite verse is John 14:6,
which says,
"Jesus answered, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one gets to the Father except through me." And when I was on again, it was a Christian something. Might have been a weekend away, might have just been a day. I'm not 100% sure. All I remember is that there was a drama that I can't remember what it was, but it was based on that specific verse. And they said at the end, if you're feeling lost, remember Jesus is the way. If you're hearing lies, remember Jesus is the truth. And if you're feeling down, remember Jesus is the life. And every time I come back to that.
wow.
So,
just say that again. That's quite cool.
If you're feeling lost, remember Jesus is the way. If you're hearing lies, remember Jesus is the truth. And if you're feeling down, remember Jesus is the life. It's written in the front of my the thing that I make notes.
Right.
My book,
little
notebook,
yeah.
Notebook. That would be the word. That I use at church. I've written that out, so it does follow me everywhere. I always write it again when I go somewhere new. And yeah, in those value moments when I've forgotten, and definitely when I've been telling myself lies. It's not even hearing lies. It's telling myself lies. Somebody prayed for me and they prayed that verse, and I was like, oh yes.
No way.
Yeah. So.
No, God's good like that, isn't he?
Yeah,
and
for sure.
It's great that he always speaks. Just for do you have any books that you're reading or have read that have encouraged you, inspired you at all?
Yeah, I've got this one with me. It's called Through the Eyes of the Lion, by a guy called Levi Lusko. And it's very much about seeing the world through God's lens. He opens the book and he talks about Elisha's companion,
right,
whose name I'm not going to attempt to pronounce. And how when Elisha, they're surrounded by an army.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's going to be the end. I mean, the way that he writes it is absolutely fantastic. Levi Lusko is he's got quite a way with words. But Elisha prays, let God open his eyes so he can see, and then he sees God's army as well. So it's all about that. It is quite an emotional read as well, because he talks about his daughter died when she was 5, so it's a tough read in that respect. It's incredibly emotional, but it was also about seeing, viewing our situations and and the world through God's lens.
He's had Jesus, he's had a profound effect on your life, hasn't he?
Yeah, and I definitely think answering your questions made me realise that more. So thank you. I'm
just glad that I don't have to answer them.
Giving me the opportunity to reflect on things as well, because I think especially with everything in the last few years, it's been easy to get bogged down with trials and tribulations. But actually, this has given me the opportunity to kind of see what he has done. So,
is there any things? No, it's fine. I enjoyed writing the questions. I certainly wouldn't enjoy being on the other side of the camera answering them. So don't nobody on the podcast think that anytime soon I'll be sitting on the other side answering them. Is there any areas in your life that you just think he's really shown this to me to either strengthen me or he's moved me through, where you think, yeah, I've definitely changed in this for the better?
That's a good question. I don't know if there are any defining moments necessarily. Other than what we've kind of already said, it has been hard to accept that my plans are not always God's plans. Or that should probably be the other way around. God's plans are not always my plans. That's been hard, I think, especially when you are getting different words from different people, and especially when those words come from people that have no idea what we're going through.
Yeah.
You're like, well, how could they possibly know? Surely that must be God. And then it doesn't. That's quite tough. But I think I've learnt to kind of you just have to trust him. I don't have why. I don't know why people suffer. I don't know why people
Yeah.
die. I don't know why, we haven't been able to have children, but other people have.
And yet you've kept your faith, because obviously with
It has shaken.
uh,
It is absolutely shaken.
how,
I've kept it.
how have you kept that going?
I think partly being obedient. There were times when I just couldn't pray. I think it felt so hypocritical to pray, because I didn't believe it.
Yeah.
I didn't believe in the power of prayer for quite a while, because we just weren't seeing answers to the prayers. So that really shook. But I think worship has always been my
You go to.
my like saving grace. I
Yeah.
don't know, is that the right word to
Yeah.
say?
Yeah. You can say that.
We sing songs all the time about worshipping when things are good and worshipping when things are tough. And it's really easy to sing that when things are great. And this has been, the fertility really was the first thing that really shook my faith. So, standing in church on Sunday morning, singing, I'll worship you when things are not great. I think, being obedient in that, it says to worship God at all times. So I worship God at all times. And I think that is what has kept me going. And just the support of other people around us. We absolutely landed in the right life group.
Brilliant.
At church, we were given space to talk about our journey. We've been able to speak to leaders about it and really felt supported by them. So I think that's kept us going.
I think that steadfastness that you've shown and that obedience is massive. We don't see enough of it in the church nowadays. It's often quite with people. We want quick fixes. We don't like the discipline and the obedience that goes with it. We like it the way that we like it. Not always, as you've described. It's God's plans, and do we walk in His, or do we just tell Him this is what we're doing? And if we don't like what we hear, we can wander away. But I suppose listening to you today, it's you just know and trust Him. You've said that you trust. You keep coming back to trust, that you trust in who He is and that He can do all things. And one of your songs is greater than in it all, and it's like, no, He is greater than in it all. Do you know what I mean? And that's a great foundation to then go, and I can be obedient against that, even though I don't see it in this specific situation, because I do see it in this, and this.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting with that trust as well, isn't it? Because I do trust Him in, that He's greater than it all, and I do trust that He's who He says He is. Do I trust that that our words are gonna come to fruition? I'm not sure all the time. If I'm honest, you go through.
Yeah.
We talk about hills and valleys. I go through almost that with trusting in the word, my personal words, words for me and words for Todd and myself. And trust is interesting.
Yeah,
what that trust looks like.
Well, in normal life, trust is built by seeing that someone's got a good character and that they're competent at what they do. And obviously, if you then turn that on God and you go, do I trust His character? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But do we trust His competency? Well, the thing is, He knows the beginning from the end, and He knows what you need and how He's going to use you. But we sometimes go, well, no, but the end output of that competency should look like this. And yet we're going, and He's like going, no, but I can, for whatever reason, I know better. Yeah. And we can't always grab that concept, can we? And that's where trust is built, but it's also lost. And I know I've been through those valleys, and I know other people probably will have done, is they don't trust God's character, or they don't trust His ability to be competent at doing what He says. And yet that's when we start going, well, we're bigger than you because we know best. And we've got to remember, He is who He says He is. He is greater than all these things, and we've got to be obedient and trust Him. So, I love what you said there. Really love what you said there. Look, we're getting close to the end, you'll be pleased to know. Just a few more questions. If you had 3 minutes with, I don't know, Jesus or a non-Christian, you can choose which. What would you sort of like be chatting about, and how would you sort of like take those conversations? I'll be interested to see which one you've chosen.
Well, I opted with Jesus. I think the obvious one is why. Like, I'd want a lot of those, the answers to the whys. Try and gain an understanding, see that bigger picture. What was God's plan and purpose in it all? Because I definitely can't see always where we are. From a very geeky point of view, I'd like some of the mysteries to be revealed. When I was I told you I was a maths geek. When I was at university, I wrote one of my essays was on Fermat's last theorem.
Right, you've lost me already, but carry on.
And so basically, Fermat lived in the 1600s. So quite a long time ago, and he wrote an equation in his margin, and basically said he had a truly marvelous proof for it, that his margin was too small to contain, and then died. The mathematician spent over around 300 years trying to prove this equation that he'd written. It was finally proven in 1991. I think it was 91. Using maths that just didn't exist in the 1600s.
Wow.
And I just want to know whether he genuinely believed he had a proof, or he just thought this would be hilarious. I'm going to write that I have a proof, and then I'm just before I die. So yeah, I don't know, those kind of mysteries, because there are a few.
Yes.
Where people have said something,
Absolutely.
and there's just only Fermat knows the answer to that question. Like so long ago.
Very cool, that is. That'll be a great conversation with God anyway, because he knows all things and he'll know the answers to that. But
I feel like I'm really revealing a little bit too much of my character.
Well, it's funny because at the beginning you've talked about being a geek all the way through, and I was thinking, you're not a geek, you're quite cool. And then you've just gone into geek mode, haven't you?
No.
While we're on things like this, I'm sure our listeners will be still wanting to find out when we're going to answer what campanology is. And just go on, shoot us with it. What is campanology?
It's bell ringing, specifically method bell ringing.
Bell ringing. What, you're talking like the big bells?
Yeah, church bells.
Wow.
So I don't want to go into I don't want to bore people. But churches have different numbers of bells in. Like Leicester Cathedral's got 12. Some churches have like 8, 6, 10, whatever. And you don't just ring them in order. They mix up, but that's all done through method. Like, you learn the method. So somebody just says go, and it's like a pattern, and you just weave in and out of each other.
And you, how long have you been doing that for then?
Since I was 15.
Wow. And you do that on your own, or is Carl involved?
Carl is now involved. I'm slowly moulding him.
What, in life, or just in bell ringing?
So he now supports the same football team as me, and he does campanology. Rings bells, but no, my grandpa was a bell ringer. My uncles are. Two of my aunts are. My mum and dad are bell ringers. Some of my cousins ring, so it's very much a family.
So do you ring locally then?
Is
that what you say? Is that right thing to say? Do you ring locally?
Yeah, so I go attend practice nights in Leicester.
Right.
And then we do ring in Stony Stanton on a Sunday morning because there's time to do it before the service. So
when we're driving to church and we hear the bells ringing at the main church there, that's you and Carl?
Well, two of them. There are 8 bells in Stony Stanton, so...
How cool is that?
Yeah,
well, listeners, honestly, we know we need to get to church early just so we can hear Carl and Rebecca playing the bells.
Ringing the...
Sorry, ringing the bells. And just out of pure interest, any really cool places that you've rang bells?
Tewkesbury Abbey. Rang the bells in Tewkesbury Abbey. They're lovely.
Wow.
Really nice bells. Go really well. Rang at Gloucester Cathedral. I don't know. Do these count as cool places?
They are to me. They sound amazing. Obviously, I know the places because I've been to Gloucester, and my family used to live in Tewkesbury. So, yeah, it's great places to have in mind. Yeah. Well, I bet the sound's amazing in the big abbeys as well.
Yeah, and I mean, to get to the ringing chamber in the abbey is pretty cool as well. So like you got like cloisters type
Yeah.
things in churches, like normally down.
Yeah.
Tewkesbury Abbey, when you go up the stairs, and you go along this little don't know, wooden like walkway
Yeah.
thing, where you must be above the ceiling, like one of the arch type ceilings
Oh, right.
below, because it falls away.
Right.
And then you come to a little door. When you go through there's this massive square with like arches and everything. That must be above the main like square central bit of the abbey, I assume. I don't know exactly what. I haven't been inside the abbey. I've only been in the ringing tower, so I don't know exactly where that is.
That is
but it's just
brilliant.
bizarre. You walk in and you're like, "What's this doing up here?"
So you do loads. Really fascinating. Look,
fascinating or geeky? I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, right, it's fascinating. Last two questions then. What do you want your legacy to be?
I think I just want to set that example. I think my parents were a great example of serving. Even before my dad was Christian, he would help out at everything. He'd always put his name down to serve for things. My mum was the same. She helped in like parent-toddler groups, the children's work. I feel like I am just my mother. But they really set that example to me. So if we are blessed with children in the future, I would like to be that example, because children very much copy your actions. So
Wow.
I'd like to continue being an example of serving.
That's lovely. That is. Let's hope my girls don't listen to that, because they don't want to be like me. Because I'm a little bit weird, not funny, and they tell me quite often. But yeah, I'm sure they'll follow Karen's roots on those kind of things. Look, as we finish, Rebecca, you've been amazing today. Really interesting stuff. Some real tough stuff that you talked to us about. So thank you. Really inspiring that you've kept your faith and you're still going. If you've got any final thoughts or words for our listeners to encourage them in their walks or with their gifts, what would it be?
I think, and it's hard to do it. I'd just say keep going. When things are tough, keep doing what you know to be right. Keep seeking those places where you can find peace and you can find safety. Be it. And then do hold things lightly. God is in control, and every time we try and take back control, it gets rockier.
Yeah.
So that would be my advice, and I am giving that knowing that it is not easy.
Brilliant.
Because I still struggle with it.
Rebecca, you've been amazing today. Thank you for all your insights. You've been inspiring, being so open. Look, I hope today has been an episode that people have been inspired by. We know in 2 Timothy 1, Paul encourages Timothy to fan the flame of gift within us. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love and self-control. So why don't you intentionally fan into the flame the gift that's within you? Maybe you can look to the right or to the left and encourage somebody with their gift. Maybe even ask others to help you find your gift and how God can inspire you. Look, we're all working towards God's eternal purposes. But as we've learned today, God can use you in many different ways. You can be an encouragement to somebody in need who's going through those valley moments. You can speak a word. You can just walk shoulder to shoulder. So thank you for everything that you've given to us today, Rebecca. I want to thank Andy Ingram for doing all the editing and the publishing, and for Karen Wright for coordinating and doing all the admin for us. And to all you listeners, be blessed and be a blessing this week to others, and goodbye, and we'll see you next time on Fan into Flame UK.